So April 23rd, 2011, I decided I wanted to stay here in the planet. And I made a decision. I was looking at these guys. I'll do this. I made a decision to stay with a caveat, to try something new. The decision was to give myself a break. To just stop trying to change myself. So I spent a good 30 years. Like, I stuttered as a child. I have a neighbor who clued me in. Like, I was a little kid, way too young to dress, and my mother was yelling at me like, "What's wrong with you? You can't dress yourself." And so that was like a clue. 10 years ago or so, I caught that. But I got some beliefs like I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, I'm not lovable, especially if I express myself how I want to. And I spent a good 30 years of just trying to prove that I was okay. And no matter if I had some success in financially, or mine was mainly sports, like I did skydiving and different stuff, and I would think, wow, skydivers have no fear. And I felt broken. Like, no matter how much success I had to be broken. And then so I had a good 15 years of, I was going to use psychology and spirituality to change myself. And so, like, I've been to India a few times, and Korea, and different places. I got up at 6 a.m. with facilitators doing really cool stuff. Like, I love Byron Katie, and I did the year and a half of Byron Katie. I never caught on that the book was called Loving What Is. Because I was going to change what is. And, after 15 years, it was about the 15-year mark when the love of my life was a dog, like Susie. And she passed away, and that was it. Didn't feel close to my parents, my coworkers, relationships, no way. And I was like, I don't want to be here. And I took a couple of weeks. I had a dear friend of mine tell me the truth. It doesn't matter. Some people disagree with that, but it's what I needed to hear. It doesn't matter if you stay or not. You'll be fine either way. I didn't say I'm taking a couple weeks. I didn't tell anybody, but it took about 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm staying here. I'm going to feel broken. I'm going to be miserable. But I don't know why I'm going to stay. I'm just going to stay, and I'm going to leave myself alone. Who would have known that was it? If I just leave myself alone, I'm in pretty good shape. And what happened next was the most surprising. I didn't realize it was like the trick of I'm broken. I think I'm broken, so I act like I'm broken, and I see it in everybody's eyes. And then that starts storing all this emotion. So my mind naturally would think negative because it had all this stuck sadness and fear and some anger. But a couple of weeks after I made that decision to just leave myself alone, I was in a motel room. And it's like I went through the McDonald's drive-thru. I was like, I've been stuffing all my emotion for 46 years. I'd like to feel it, and I'm in a hurry. So it was like 4 to 6 hours of uncontrollable screams and crying, and a friend that was with me knew what was going on. He just told me to breathe. But I felt so much better. I felt so much better. And this ends up, my mind's my friend. My emotions are my friends. I'm my own friend. Like, who would have guessed that it was me all along torturing myself, understandably, that caused all that separation and anxiety. And now, honestly, up until May 14th of 2011, I couldn't talk to people without medication. Like, I couldn't talk to people. Like, I I mean, whatever, no matter how much I psyched myself up, I just couldn't do it. I'd stare at the floor and shake. So I felt kind of trapped. The motivation was there to change, but I think feeling all that sadness and anger and stuff kind of reset my nervous system a little bit. So I can talk to people, kind of like people now. One of the coolest things too, and is, what I wanted as a kid was to walk in and have my mother light up, and my father. And it's like it never happened. And recently, when I think about my mother, when I see her, I light up. I think she kind of lights up now too, but it was, I wanted to love and understand. All this stuff about being understood was kind of backwards.